Hi and welcome to today's chess session on YouTube. Thank you YouTube, and here we go. Now this is all about one of my favourite players of old from 1904, Frank J. Marshall I believe, but we'll just say his middle name is Frank Swindle Marshall. Okay, so sorry about that. I haven't done this for a while, except for on Facebook. I've been putting videos on there and also placing them on YouTube as well in my absence while I was in Dunedin. So anyway, that's enough about me. I'm not here for me, I'm here for you, and I'm here for chess. That's what I'm here for. So here we go, let's get into this game. This is quite interesting, this game. It's played in Monte Carlo 1904 with Frank Marshall having the white pieces and Marco having the black pieces. So here we go, let's get into this. So this is the match game, of course. It's not a blitz game, although it looks a bit like one. D3, castles, D6, yep. Queen D3, knight F6, B4, bishop E6. Whatever now, Dave. A4, I thought so. A4 with just a pinnacle threat of A5 winning a piece by biffing the bishop on B6. So here's A6, not A5. Every pawn's staying away from each other because they're a bit worried about something that's out in the community at the moment, but I'm not going to go on about it much. So here's rook e1, and here comes bishop g4, was it? Oh, knight g4. Knew something went to g4. So what do we do now? Do we worry about the knight f2 threat or bishop f2 check threat? Yes, we do. We play rook a2, which is a move that everyone can see, and then comes knight ge5, and this more or less asks the question to the queen and knight, and bishop, so white captures on e5. Now, after knight e5, what's your next move? A lot of people would play queen d5. That would be a very bad move because bishop e6 will be very good. So if we play queen d5 here, I'll just say this is a variation, then this is looking quite comfortable, and I have got the engine on. I've just found that out, so that's quite good. So now we're going to go queen g3, which is actually a move that is very surprising, but I found it very surprising that white plays here queen g3. If we go queen e2, then black will play knight c4, and then after queen c4, bishop e6, threatening the rook on a2 as well as the queen on c4, which does want to move, frankly. So here's queen g3. What a surprising move this is. How fantastic is Marshall? So here's Marco going to win a whole piece. Knight c4. And here we would think that after queen g7 check to the rook on h8, we would think that after rook f8 everyone would play now bishop to h6, but not. e5. Now Frank offers another thing to black's kitty, a whole pawn as well. So takes with the knight e5, and here's king h1, because of course we cannot play, excuse me, We cannot play f4 because it's checked to the king on g1 with the bishop on b6. So the king moves off the side cushion, thereby more or less threatening f4. Here's bishop e6. Now we're getting counter threat of bishop takes rook on e6 to a2. So rook a e2, doubling up. And now we're threatening f4 or bishop e7 or bishop h6. So here's queen e7. And now what we'll not do is bishop g5 here, because black would play f6. That's my analysis. So we're going to get to the actual position that becomes a bit of a swindle for Frank. So here's f4, knight c4, knight d3, yep, fair enough. f5, and is it knight e1 now? No, knight e5. So we could play knight e1, but it probably isn't very good after rook e1, and then the bishop is going to be lost. So white's going to have three pieces for rook and piece, I think. Yeah, rook and piece. Something like that. So knight e5, and we, of course, we take here now the bishop on e6. We could even try f6, could we? I'm not sure. f6 could be a possibility, but the problem is that if f6 here, I believe that the move would be here. And now, what about bishop h6 now? Okay, then we would have, I believe, castling. Okay, that's what I think. That's my analysis, without looking at what this computer would say. So here we've got fe6, and now fe6, just wanting to swap off the queens, of course. So bishop h6, a wee bit of a surprise. One would think that white would now play rook e5, but I think the back rank will be a wee bit weak after that move. So we'll just try rook e5 and just do some homegrown analysis. Okay, rook e5. What shall we play now? Shall we castle, or shall we play king f7, or rook d8? We'll probably I'm not completely sure about this variation here. If we play castle, then we're threatening rook d1 check, aren't we? So then the rook has to come back here, and it's possibly a wee bit worse for white than the game actual. So we'll just we'll kind of ignore this. Now g3. So it gives the king a left at least. And so Frank J. Marshall leaves his knight on b1 because he wants to protect 7th rank for black's rook. Also protecting the c3 pawn. But he has to be careful, of course, because he can't now, after rook d8, just think, oh, play rook takes pawn now, e5, because then rook d1 would win the knight on b1, of course. So king g2. So here we have got the it's a little bit precarious, this position, but it's not even reached the position that I've got out of the companion book of chess or something like that, called, what's it called now? The Oxford Companion to Chess book. I will say who they're from: David Hooper and Kenneth Wild. I will say it that way. New edition. So that's quite a good wee healthy book that I got, more or less given to me from the Canterbury Chess Club. So I've more or less been given this book because it was so cheap. It's like for nothing. It was like about maybe $5 New Zealand. So it's hardly anything really. It's like giving me it for free. So here's Rook D3 and Rook E5. Now we could possibly play just here Rook D1, but King F7 happened. And Rook E2, so that if Rook D1, we can just move our knight to D2. But not now, not with this move, Bishop to E3. Can't move Knight D2 now, so I'll get the mouse off this playing field. Rook C2, a bit of protection of the C3 pawn. Let me just be kind of basic here, please, because I don't profess or say I can see what Frank Marshall is thinking. This is quite amazing that he's more or less in a lost game for white. The bishop is a bit better than the knight B1. Rook F3, and then we got Rook D1, Rook F1, Rook D3, Rook F3, Rook D1. Now Frank made a mistake according to the book. Frank should just now play Rook F1, but played Knight A3. So this is a bad move. This is called a bad move in the book. I don't understand completely why. So here's Rook C1 and C4. Of course, Rook A1, and then we have C5, and then we have a move that wins a pawn for black. And what is that? That's very easy to see. That's C pawn, pick it up, put it in your coffee cup. Here it comes. Bishop C1 and Knight C2 or C4. Knight C4. The knight wants to have some activity. Rook A4. And here, of course, black is threatening the B4 pawn that was before on B2. Oh, aren't I funny? And so here's Knight E5 and Bishop B2. Because if Rook B4 here now, my analysis, of course, then we have Knight D3 threatening the Rook and Bishop at the same time, and there are a couple of moves here for black. Now this one's the worst move that I can think of, because of Rook F1 pinning the Bishop to C1 with Knight and Rook, and probably this is the better one. But I'm not completely sure what happens here. Maybe maybe some middle move, in between move or so. So anyway, moving on, because I am watching my clock. So here is Bishop B2. Okay, so we have Knight D3, which is of course attacking the bishop and defending the B2 to B4 pawn as well. Rook F4, which looks like white's just hanging on and defending. A5. So here is what do we do now? We panic. We could try B5, but it's not very good, is it? Because so white now plays, I believe, Rook H4, and here comes AB4. Look at this passed pawn starting to run. Can't run straight away because of the because of Rook A4. Rook captures A4, and then B2. Well, Knight B2, and white's going to probably win this endgame all of a sudden. So here's Rook H7 check. and king to d8, and now knight f4, which is threatening, of course, sort of knight e6 check, b3, knight e6 check as promised, king c8. Now, are we going to take this pawn on c7 with check, because it looks pretty good with the rook? Are we going to do that, or are we going to do something else? Now here is the point of the whole thing, is this is where Frank Marshall sets up a wee trap for Marco, which is not a wee trap, it's a 11 move combination. He sets up a 11 move combination that's just my phone in the background, but obviously I'm doing this session. So white now sets up a wee trap for black, which black falls into. White plays, what does white play? There's not many moves to play, but we can discount just about 7 or 8 of them. White now plays c6, which is now threatening not rook h8 checkmate, because of bishop takes rook almost, but it also threatens just cb7 and check, and if black would take the pawn on b7, then it's knight c5 check and knight a4, etc. So Marco here should play bc6. So Marco should play here bc6 as suggested. Okay, or just cancel that. But Marco doesn't play that. Marco reacts to the sting of black's problem by bishop e5. And so here we have just simply now cb7 check, and as previously mentioned, no way can black capture this pawn on b7, so plays the b8 only move other than king b7, knight c5 check, etc. Now we have the is it rook e7 or rook d7? Oh, knight c5. Okay, I was wrong. So knight here, and so is b2 possible here now? I wonder if b2, I'd like to play b2, but I think there's something pretty bad about this move. I feel like this is the move for white. And here, if queen b8, I mean queen b1, then I think rook here, king here, rook here, king here, queen, we can go knight, we can't go knights, I want to go knight a4, or we'll just go queen b8 check, and that's good enough for victory, isn't it? Okay, so yeah, I don't think I played all the best moves for black, but that's just sort of like roughly the idea I think of. So knight c5, and we've got rook a2 check. Now we have, do we have king h3 or king f3? King h3. b2. Now this is looking very, very crazy now, isn't it? Really, I think it's looking very crazy. So it just looks to me, to the naked eye, that just rook h8 and queen. checkmate soon? No, because rook h8 is impossible because of bishop takes rook, and black's gonna queen next move. So he plays rook e7 and now threatens rook e8 and rook a8 and queen b8, checking black all over again. So king, oh sorry, that makes a lot of difference. This king move somehow makes a lot of difference, because now black actually is threatening queen b1, and all of a sudden white has to first make this tempi move of rook e8, which is now threatening b8. But then we have c6, and so this is quite good, doesn't it? So, but Marshall's worked all this out. How wonderful. I don't think he worked out how to lose the first part of the game, but he works this out. This is part of the 11 move combination. He plays rook a8 and king b6. Now what? Plays rook a2, and now you get the queen, of course. Otherwise we're going to slip over into a one game for white, which it is already. So here we've got b1 queen, and then we have a wee counter luring away sacrifice by white in the following move, which everyone can see. So what is that wee little move here that white's got now that's quite kind of cute? So it involves a driving away sacrifice, and it involves a fork as well. So we have queen b8 check, and this forces more or less bishop b8, because moving away, or I mean not moving away, moving away, king c5 is no good because of queen takes queen, etc. So here comes bishop b8. Now everyone can see this move, which is rook b2 check. And now if black doesn't watch it, they're going to lose their queen on b1. So they take the rook because it's check and attacking the queen at the same time. And then we have the royal queen fork, which is knight c5 to a4 check. And here we've got king b5 and knight b2. Well, you might look at this, and by the way, there are variations here that Marco can still draw in. But the whole thing about what's happened here is that swindling causes your opponent maybe to go off guard and to sort of like, I think why are they playing off? And Frank Marshall is well known for doing this sort of thing. So he doesn't give up. It's very, very good, very, very good not to give up. So c5, king g2. That looks quite a mean pawn, doesn't it? And the thing is about knights, they don't like bishop pawns passed. King f3, and now knight d3. So we're covering for white, not me, I haven't played this game, but Frank is defending c1. So he goes here, which looks like, well, why not knight c1? Well, there's a reason, because here the pawn is stopped from moving, and if he now plays king b3, I'll give an example. King b3, I believe that white has this move, okay? And after this move, no good, because of this move. And thereby, white has, that's just my analysis, I'm not saying that's correct, but I'm saying that. And also this knight can swing over to here and to A1. And like I said, black still has a draw if they play this correctly. But these pawns do look quite damaging, don't they? They sort of look like they're going to get in at the end. So here's a wee kind of a waiting move, and then we have this opportunity for black. Don't ask me why, but here we have an opportunity for black to draw with the move King E6. Okay, so here this position is equal, but there's still work for black to play. But that's probably just hanging around that, probably just wanting to come back here and hang around these pawns here, sort of thing. Whereas meanwhile, on the other side of the board is the C3 pawn, you see. So this is considered the best for black. So King E4 was played, and now we have H5, of course, and King D3. Now, Knight E1 is the only other move for white here, as opposed to other silly moves. So Knight A1 and Knight E1. So Knight A1, as I previously said. And here, this is going to be a half-hour session, but that's okay. King H5 and King F5 and Knight C2. Another wee waiting move. And now the black bishop moves out, because what else? So bishop C5 and Knight D4 check, a wee bit surprising. Knight E2 attacking the C3 pawn. G6. Because of course, when the pawn promotes to C1 with protection of bishop, white is left with a pawn at least. So bishop A3, and then we have just G7. And here we got what? Queen on G8. King E2. And what's the final move? And then I can complete this this session within a half an hour, is Queen A2. And here is where Marco resigned. You may like to look at why white won here in this position now. So that is the end of this session. I wish you all the best with your chess, no matter where it's at and wherever you're at, even if you're my opponent. And also, I do want to show you just the ending. We're going to play king here, aren't we? Okay. Then we play queen takes bishop here, and now after queen here, not rook also, just queen takes queen, king takes. So all the best with your chess, and primarily enjoy the game of chess. It's very, very good for your respect for yourself, your opponent, and your opponent's pieces, and your pieces. Bye for now. All the best. See you next time on The Muppet Show.